Who's got a car with cruise control? Just raise your hand. Wow. Who's ever flown an aeroplane in this place? I might be out of luck on this one. Who's flown an aeroplane in a place? Just raise your hand nice and high. You've flown a helicopter. Who's flown a helicopter? Rocky, but it's just you, man. And me, actually, I've flown an airplane and a helicopter. Would you believe it? I pulled a badass 9G loop. It was awesome. I started blacking out and all this kind of gear. I didn't know that I had to like tense everything, keep blowing my brain. I was just like, wah! Anyway. You know when you see a plane stall in the air and like spirals in the movies? I actually got to do that. I did 2 weeks flying with the Air Force, so I was going to be a pilot. Anyway, it was awesome. Actually throwing the plane into a stall and feeling the plane just go in the air. You didn't think a plane could do that, but it does it. You pull it back a little bit, it goes and then just flips backwards, and you're just like, man, this ain't going to end well. I don't know what I'm doing here. But it's just crazy, just counting rotations of the Earth. As you spin on like 1, there's the Earth, 2, there's the Earth, 3, there's the Earth, okay, rudder and rudder, opposite stick, boom, and you pull it out, it's just insane. So I've flown a plane, but cool man, you've flown a helicopter too, that's pretty rad. I've flown a helicopter, they're way better, way cooler. Anyway, cruise control. I'm all out of luck with people having ever have flicked on the autopilot switch in an aeroplane, but how many times have we flicked on the cruise control in our car, and you're cruising along, and you kind of sometimes can get into a bit of a daydream, you're kind of like, oh, there's a corner coming up, and you know when a corner is marked with like one of those signs, it's not a speed sign, it's just like a suggestion sign. Like going, this corner you should be taking at 50, you're in the 80s, so this corner should be taken at 50. It's just a suggestion thing. There's literally so many corners that I look at and I know from driving, they have that thing up, that suggestion thing going 50, and like, no. I can easily do you at 70, my friend. Possibly even just stick it at 80. But how many of you know there are some corners that when you actually see that suggestion, you know, I got to slow down, this actually is a 50 corner, I have to stop, and whatnot. It would be a little bit weird, right, if we just didn't actually wake up out of our cruise control and we just kept cruising into that 50 corner, just nosing along, and we didn't actually wake up. It would be a little bit... The day would take a turn for the worst, wouldn't it? How many of us love rugging up for winter? Put in a couple of layers on. I love layering up, putting some jumpers on, putting some hoodies on, all that kind of stuff. It makes me look good. So, I really like layering up in winter. It's cool. Do you think it would be a little bit weird if people kept wearing all those layers in the summer? It would be a little weird. It would be a little weird if people kept wearing all those layers in the summer. You'd be like, dude, there's something seriously wrong with you. You've got a serious fever that you need to get checked out, man. I don't know what you're doing wearing all of those layers. It would be weird because you're dressing for something. You're wearing clothes that are no longer relevant. They're from a time gone past. It would be weird to be like, why are you still wearing those clothes from last season? Why are you still wearing those clothes from last month? Why are you still wearing them? It would be weird, right? Like it would be weird if we don't wake up and cruise control, it would cause some damage. It would be weird if you don't actually take off those clothes, those winter clothes when we're in summer. It would be a little bit weird. It would also be weird because we're like, why? It's like you're trying to protect yourself from something that's no longer there. Why are you doing it? Like it would be a little bit weird. Who loves a masquerade? Raise your hand if you don't know what a masquerade is. Cool. So, Nathan, I didn't know what it was either. To double click define. Masquerade is a masked ball. Apparently you get fancy ones and then you get peasant. The fancy ones you get masks on sticks. And you can walk around and you talk to people and you're like, you have no idea who I am. Look at this. Hello, it's me, I'm here. Goodbye. You don't know who I am anymore. It's like these masks. You get the fancy ones wearing these masks. That's a masquerade ball. But like I said, Pleasantville, over here, we just hit up like Big Dubs or Kmart or Reject Shop or Dollars and Cents, and we get like an Iron Man mask, whack that thing on, and we're like, yes, we are ready to roll. This is awesome. And you bump into the masquerade ball or whatever, wearing this mask, feeling the bee's knees. It's totally acceptable to wear that mask in that place, in that building, in that masquerade ball place. If you, however, were to keep wearing that mask and left, I'm going to try and get some fuel. You know you're going to run up a few issues. There's a few issues there. You're going to be thinking, oh, this is hilarious. Look at this, I'm getting out of the petrol station, and the guy's like,
Can the person at Bowser 3 please take the Iron Man mask off?
and you're going, ha ha ha, this is hilarious. Meanwhile, he's like getting Chris in the Jerusalem already because he's like, this dude's gonna do something dodgy here. It's totally acceptable to wear a mask then, but it's not acceptable to wear a mask outside of that situation. Imagine husband and wife, you go to a masquerade ball and your husband puts on an Iron Man helmet because every husband wants to be Iron Man. Let's be serious, I don't know. He wants to be Iron Man, so the husband puts this mask on at the masquerade ball and it's all sweet, and then you leave the ball and you take yours down because you're fancy. Women, they're fancy ones. They have feathers, don't they? You're fancy ones, so you take that down and your husband's like, oh, there you are. I didn't know where you were on that. Anyway, so then you get in the car and you're like, okay, you can take your mask off now. And he's like, nah, I kind of like how it feels. So you're like, okay, cool, you can wear it if you want to. So then you get home and you're getting ready for bed and stuff, and you look and he's, in his little whitey tighty, he's ready for bed, but he's still wearing an Iron Man mask. You're like, man, what's going on here? And he's there in the bathroom brushing his teeth like this, underneath the mask. And you're like, I know you're not getting to the back of your molars there, man. You brush your molars, son. He's like brushing like this. You're like, when are you going to take this mask off? It'll be a little bit weird, right? It'll be a little weird. You go to sleep and he's still got this mask. You wake up the next morning and he's still wearing this Iron Man mask. It'll be literally weird, right? Like, just think about it for a second. If your husband, your partner, it doesn't have to be your husband, if your wife, just your partner, your friends, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, whatever, wore a mask the entire time they were around you, how frustrating would that be? Literally just so frustrating. But secondly, how near impossible would it be for you to actually develop a proper relationship with them? Literally, just think about it. Think about it. Literally, the person, your spouse or whatever, your friend, wore an actual mask the entire time. How difficult, how literally near impossible would it be to actually develop a relationship with them? How difficult would it be to actually have any form of connection with that person? Just by wearing that literal tangible mask. I'm not even talking about anything else right now. I'm just talking about a mask. I think just a mask. That would be so impossible to do that. Cruise control. We've got to sometimes switch off that thing. Otherwise it can end badly. Sometimes we've got to stop wearing clothes from seasons from past. We've got to stop wearing the clothes of the past sometimes. Sometimes we've got to take off some masks to be able to develop some real relationship. This morning I want to talk to us about the fact that Jesus causes genuine people. Genuine people. Our city needs genuine people. Your family needs genuine people. Genuine people that aren't just on cruise control. Genuine people that aren't just cruising through today going, this is just going to end the same day that yesterday did. I'm just not even going to think. I'm not even going to dare to believe that today God might actually want me to do something a little bit different. I'm here today to tell you that Jesus wants genuine people. People that are actually connected with Him. People that aren't on cruise control. People that aren't just cruising towards that corner and without actually waking up. Jesus wants to wake us up and say, actually today I wanted you to text your son. I want you to text your son and tell him that you loved him. I know you haven't seen him in a month, but I just want you to text your son and tell him you love him. Today I actually wanted you to bake a cake for your neighbor. Don't be in cruise control. God wants genuine people who are genuinely connected with Him. See, genuine is an awesome word, and it pretty much means a vulnerableness, an openness, a nakedness of our souls. genuineness. Like when I actually come up and meet Beck, that she actually gets to meet me and I get to meet her. That there are no barriers, no boundaries between us. There's a genuine, actual Blake meets Beck. Fantastic. We can actually then build some kind of relationship. Some kind of friendship there. Without those things, it's impossible. So without genuineness, it is impossible. I'm here today to tell you that Jesus wants to cause genuineness, genuine people in us. And He wants to cause it for us, for our families, and He wants to cause it in our city. There are people in our city that are wounding each other purely because they're reacting out of last year's clothes. Let me put it to you this way. People are wearing church. People are having things that are hanging over them from experiences that took place years ago, months ago, whatever. People have these things hanging over them and they keep wearing them. I'm here today to tell you that Jesus wants you to take off those things. Jesus wants to cause an actual genuine connection so that when you come and meet somebody, you don't meet them with all these cloaks of baggage from the past that you keep having on you. You don't meet this person and they go, whoa, why did they react like that? Why did they react like this? When I was just doing that, it's because they're still wearing shame. It's because they're still wearing insecurity from something that happened 20 years ago. It's because they're still wearing pain. It's because they're still wearing hurt. Those things that are hanging over them from times gone by. I'm here today to tell you, church, today that Jesus wants us, He wants to challenge us to get out of the comfort that the boundaries around us, that those wounds from the past justify. See, some of us here today are wearing things from the past purely because we actually didn't know that there's another way. Purely because we didn't know that there's a way to not actually wear those things. I'm here today to tell you that Jesus wants to heal you of that today. He wants to take that off you today. As the word says in Isaiah, it says, He wants to give us a garment of praise for the spirit of despair today. But some of us here are actually wearing things by choice. We've chosen. Because something happened to us, and so we built these boundaries around us. And we've grown comfortable within those boundaries. We've erected these walls around us that keep people out at arm's length. And Jesus is saying He wants us to actually come out of that comfort. He wants to challenge them and say, you know what, I've actually got more for you. I want you to stop wearing those things. I want you to stop being comfortable in that. Because I've got more for you than that. I love when Jesus raises Lazarus from the dead. He says one of the most powerful things in the Bible. Firstly, He calls him forth. That's pretty rad. But then He says to the people around Him, He says, take off His grave clothes. Take off His grave clothes. Why? Because He's no longer dead. Stop wearing clothes that remind Him of that time. Because He's no longer dead. And this is the thing where we're at a lot of the times, church. We can be wearing grave clothes. We can be wearing things from our past, using them as barriers around us. People, if Lazarus was to walk through Jerusalem after the raising from the dead, still wearing grave clothes, people would be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Backing up. They would be giving Him a wide berth, and there would be a boundary around Him because of what He's wearing. And this is the difficulty, church, that what God wants to call us out of. He wants to call us to be genuine people, not with these barriers and boundaries around us. He actually wants to call us to be genuine people, where we can actually genuinely encounter others, genuinely interact with others, genuinely encounter our God. Amen? He wants us to take off the masks. Take off the masks. The masks are like just lies. Just lies. That is not who your face is. That's it. That's what a mask is. It says, this is my face. No, it's not. It's a lie. Oh, that's who your face is. God wants to cause us to put down the masks. He wants us to just to put down the lies. Just to straight up, just stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to your friends. Stop lying to your God. Stop lying to your husband. Stop lying to your wife. Stop lying to whatever. Just stop. And I'm not saying that there are, but I'm saying if there are, it's time for them just to pull those masks off. Pull those lies off. Jesus wants to tell us, let's just put those lies down. Jesus wants to tell us to stop the drama sometimes. Just to stop the drama. I love it when someone, I don't love it, that's sarcastic. I really have to put a disclaimer with my sarcasm because I'm really bad at it. Which I think is a good thing. But anyway, be honest, I hate it when I watch somebody who has an opportunity to have an honest conversation with somebody or have an honest encounter with God. But yet every time they get close, there's drama over there, drama! And they go over there, and sorry, I couldn't make it. I couldn't come and have that conversation. I couldn't come and join you for the young adults meeting. I couldn't come and join you for this life group. I couldn't come and join you at church that day because of all this drama going on around us. Put down the drama. Put down the drama. People chase drama to try and avoid actually having a genuine encounter with other people, a genuine encounter with God. Stop chasing drama. Put the mask down. Amen? Theological debates. Put them down. You know, theology means the study of God. It doesn't have anything to say that you actually have to do it with God. You don't even have to be a Christian to be a theologian. And this is a mask I think so many Christians wear sometimes. We have all these deep theological debates about the atonement theory or the resurrection and, this and that and the other thing. To have this appearance, wearing a mask, have this appearance of, I've encountered God, I'm this, I'm that. But I just want you to challenge yourself and just check yourself. Are you actually wearing theological debates as a mask? It's something that so many Christians can fall into. And we can use as that boundary, that barrier between us and God. The whole world around us looks and goes, oh wow, man, they got it going on. Look how much they know about the Bible. And God's going, who are they? When was the last time I haven't had a conversation with them in like 6 months? Take down the mask. Take down those theological debates. I'm not saying study theology is a bad thing. I'm just saying don't use it as a mask. Check yourself. Check where your heart is at. This is where God wants us, church. He wants us to take down these barriers. He wants us to kick out of cruise control. He wants us to take down the mask and all these things that are causing us to have boundaries around us before other people and before our God. He wants to cause a genuineness within us. Thanks, man. Our families need it. Our cities need it, church. And we need Jesus. We need Jesus. I want to read to you from Luke chapter 5. If you've got your Bibles, you can crack them open. Luke chapter 5. This is at the beginning of Jesus' ministry. He hasn't even called his disciples yet. I want to show you how Jesus creates genuine people. And I want to invite you to come and have one of these encounters like Peter did in this story today. I want to invite you to have them. I want to invite you to chase them. Because the more we chase them, the more genuine we will become with ourselves. First and foremost, genuine with ourselves. Genuine with our friends, genuine with our family, and then genuine with our God. We've got to chase these encounters. Luke chapter 5. Read from about verse 4. Jesus has just finished speaking to a large crowd, and to do so, he got into and asked Peter, he said, can I just jump in your boat and just kick off a little bit from shore so that I don't get trampled by people? And so that's where we come in. So this is the first time Peter and any of the disciples actually met Jesus. It says, when he had finished speaking, he said to Simon, put out into deep water and let down the nets for a catch. Simon answered, Master, we've worked hard all night and haven't caught anything. But because you say so, I will let down the nets. When they had done so, they caught such a large number of fish that their nets began to break. So they signaled their partners in the other boat to come and help them. And they came and filled both boats so full that they began to sink. When Peter saw this, he fell at Jesus' knees and said, Go away from me, Lord. I am a sinful man. Go away from me, Lord, for I am a sinful man. That right there is one of the most precious, refreshing, and powerful moments in the Bible. When Peter stops and says, Go away from me, I'm a sinful man. And I'm not saying it's precious and all this kind of stuff, because, you realize your sin, you realize that he was going to burn in hell. Let's, know he can be reached by Jesus. That's not what I'm talking about. That was the most precious moment in the Bible because it was a genuine moment. It was a precious moment because the moment Peter encountered Jesus, saw who Jesus was, he instantly actually saw who he was. Instantly saw who he was. He was going through cruise control, just fishing at night. We've done this before, Jesus. We've gone through fishing. We put our nets down all night. We've worked out. He was on cruise control. He encounters Jesus. All of a sudden, he gets woken up to who he actually is. That's why I love this moment. That's why I think it's one of the most powerful moments in the Bible. Because it's Peter having a genuine moment where he actually sees who he is. Jesus is the perfect mirror. The perfect mirror. We look at him and we see who we are and who we aren't. It's a beautiful thing, church, and we've got to keep chasing experiences like this. He instantly became aware of all of his faults and weaknesses and failures and shortcomings. It can be a scary thing, right? It can be a scary thing when we actually have that genuine encounter with God, and we actually have that genuine revelation of who we are and who we aren't. It can be a terrifying thing. But let me tell you, those are the moments where you can actually change the course of your life. People talk about life change. We talk about changing the course of our life. We read a self-help book, we read even the Bible, and we go, yeah, cool, that's sweet, I want to change this. But God's going, no, I need an actual genuine encounter with you. I need you to feel vulnerable. I need you to feel open. I need you to feel naked and exposed before me, or else I'm not actually going to meet the real you. And all that's going to change is your ego self, your projected self that the world gets to see. It's not actually going to change you at the core of your being. And you're going to keep carrying on cruise control. You're going to talk the talk. I want to change. I read about this. I want to do this. I want to go here. I think this now. What do you actually? Because if you do, we'll see it in your life. You'll actually be changing your life. And that's where God wants us all the time, to see that change in our lives. And let me tell you, church, I've been around the Christian life for a long time now. It takes genuine encounters. Like, I can preach a sermon today and everyone so far seems to be nodding their heads and going, yeah, it's cool, it's good, I can understand it. The people that actually have a genuine encounter with God today, and He speaks to them about this, will actually walk away changed. The rest of us, and I'm saying this because I believe there is a divine aspect to this. Like, man cannot just stand before you and preach and there can be life change. God has to encounter you. And you have to encounter God. You have to have that genuine encounter with God for there actually to be that change. And this is what happens with Peter. He has a genuine encounter. He sees who he is. And he says, go away from me, I'm a sinful man. There's no longer the barriers around him. God has cut straight through the core. It says in Hebrews 4:13, it says, nothing in all creation is hidden from God. Everything is naked and exposed before His eyes. Everything. Every part of who we are, church, is naked and exposed before who He is. We can't hide from God. We can try. And we can put barriers and boundaries. He knows though. He knows when we're not being genuine with Him. David in Psalm 139 at the end of it prays an insane prayer. He says, search me, O God. Search me. Know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Point out anything in me that offends you. What a brave guy. I don't know if I'd have enough paper for me to write down everything that God goes, well, this offended me. Well, this offended me. Well, this offended me. I know I won't need paper, but it's just such a brave prayer. David's saying, God, point it out, search me, know me, reveal to me, tell me all the things, point out anything in me that offends you. This genuine prayer. I love it because David actually asked God to do it. Like I said, Jesus is the perfect mirror. We can't go to our friends and say, hey, can you point out anything in me that offends you? They'll give you some tips, but God will actually get you to the root of that thing. God will actually get you straight to the core of that thing. God will, in the moment, in a blink of an eye, you'll go, oh, that's where this is from. I've been wearing this from 20 years ago. I didn't even know what that experience 20 years ago has actually affected me like this, and I've been wearing it ever since. But now I do. In the blink of an eye, God can actually show you it. And David asks, says, God, you point out anything in me that offends you. And I love it because he's saying, God, you do what only you can do. He's the Lord of light, church. As in, he just points out any nook in our heart that is harboring anything that is treacherous to ourselves, treacherous to one another. He just reveals any desire of our heart that's damaging to us. You know when it says in Peter, I think it's in First Peter, it says, "Be holy, therefore be holy as God is holy." And sometimes people go, "Oh wow, that's like, well, wow." They go, "Oh man, that's just like impossible. How can we do that?" Holy means set apart, and I love it. I love the fact that Jesus calls us to be holy as He is set apart. You know what it is from? Sin is not just breaking the law. Sin is not just about breaking the law that someone created, said, this is right, this is wrong. No, that's not sin. See, the truth is we don't actually break the law. The law breaks us. Because they aren't actually just laws made up. They're actual statutes that are about life. If you do this, this will be a blessing to you. If you don't do these things, you will be damaging yourself. Sin is things that are damaging or could be possibly damaging to yourself. And so when Jesus says, or Peter says, that God has called us to be holy as He is holy, it means set apart as He is set apart. Set apart from things that damage us, as He is set apart from things that damage. That's all this means. We get caught up so often in these, oh, when I broke this, I broke that, and it's just, let's debate this, let's debate that. No, hold on, you're missing it. You know when your parents say you don't touch that hot plate because it's going to burn you? That's all it is. It's literally all it is. It's God's care, it's God's concern for us. Don't do that because it's actually going to wound you. Don't do that because it could actually make a way for you to be wounded in the future. That's all that sin is. It's not this breaking of the law. That's what I mean. It's literally these things that are a part of our world that when we don't actually live by them, they actually break us. Don't fool yourself into thinking you can break the law. The law breaks you, and it's like the law breaks us. And because it's not a law, it's literally just things that will bless us, or things that will bring life, or things that will bring death, or open the way. Because that's the sneaky thing. People go, oh, no, it's not damaging to me right now. I go, no, it's not damaging to you right now. Give it a year. Give it 2 years. If one person makes this decision and goes this way, you could be in a real big spot of bother. Be set apart as He is set apart from those things that damage us. And this is the thing, God reveals these things, church. In the blink of an eye, we cannot hide from Him. In the blink of an eye, Peter went, get away from me, because I am a sinful man. In the blink of an eye, he realized that he had made wrong choices. In the blink of an eye, he realized his weaknesses, his failures, his faults, his failures. In the blink of an eye, he saw all of it. We cannot hide from Him. With Jesus, church, there are no more barriers. With Jesus, there are no more facades. There are no more lies to ourselves. There are no more falsehood. There is no more masks. We are naked before Him, bare and vulnerable. Absolutely vulnerable. I know there's people in this room that have experienced this. When I was chatting to Pastor Mike earlier in the week about the fact that this was God, what God was putting on my heart, he was going, it terrifies him. I would say it terrifies him when he feels Jesus' eyes just piercing. It can be a terrifying thing. For me personally, I love it. I love it. It wrecks me, absolutely. But there is never a moment where I am more present more alive, more connected to myself, more connected to God, more connected to other people. There's never another moment in life when Jesus sniper shots me and I just see myself, whoa, I'm a sinful man. That I see more clearly around me. Never a moment do I see more clearly about these issues and that issue around me, and I see the solutions instantly. When you have that genuine encounter with God where we are naked and exposed before Him, there's nothing as powerful. But we are left humbled and defenseless. We have no excuses because He wrecks us. We're speechless sometimes when we're in those moments. But that moment, church, right there, you have nothing to say for yourself. When you feel completely exposed before God, is the most powerful moment of your life. Can be the most powerful moment of that week for you. That moment right there when you feel completely naked. And the reason is, church, is because only when we are naked before God can we actually be clothed by Him. Only when we are naked before God can we actually be clothed by Him. Not clothed by our past, not clothed by our failures, not clothed by our weaknesses, but actually when we are before Him and we actually have a genuine encounter with Him where we say, God, I am a sinner. Or God, I am broken. God, I am weak. God, I was misled. God, I was wrong. Only in those moments can we actually be clothed by Him. Only when we actually see and accept our weaknesses, church, can we then actually see and accept His strength. Unless we actually accept the weaknesses that we have inside us, can we actually accept His strength in their place? Only when we accept our brokenness can we accept His healing and His wholeness. If we don't actually see it, if we don't actually come face to face with it, if we don't actually acknowledge it, church, if we keep wearing a mask before ourselves, if we keep wearing these things from years past, we will never actually get set free from those things that are burdening us. Only when we actually see and accept our brokenness can we actually then accept His healing and wholeness in their place. Only when we see our misconceptions about ourselves and about our future can we actually accept His calling. When actually, oh, whoa, I was wrong to think that this is what I was born for. I was wrong to have this misconception about this in my life, about this, that this was what my life was going to amount to. I was wrong to have a misconception. God, I can now see the calling that You have placed in my life. Only when we see it and accept it can we then accept the other in our stead. And lastly, church, only when we see and accept our hatred, our anger, our unforgiveness, only when we actually see and accept those things can we actually accept His love, His mercy, and His grace in our stead. Until we actually see and accept them. And this is how the Jesus effect, you come face to face with Him and He calls us. He creates genuine people. And He longs to cause us to be a genuine people. Not a people walking around with all these barriers or these boundaries or these masks or these facades. Just genuine people. Able to have a genuine conversation with one another. Able to have a genuine concern for one another. Able to actually have a genuine encounter with our God. Jesus causes genuine people. Our city needs a church. We need it. We need to accept everything God has for us in the place of all the things all the deficiencies that we have. When Peter asked Jesus to go away from him, because he's a sinful man, Jesus turns to him and says, do not be afraid. Turns to him and says, do not be afraid. Says, from today onwards, you'll be a fisher of men. In the moment that Peter acknowledged who he was and who he is, and saw that he perhaps was on cruise control, all of a sudden, Jesus is able to show him the actual direction of his life, his actual calling. Not actually meant to be a fisherman of people. He actually meant to be a fisherman of men and help them come and pastor and care for men and for women. That's what you're actually meant to be. It's only when we actually have that experience that we're able to be led from it. The band wants to jump up and close. One goes a simple thought, church. If Peter had fought against that nakedness and that exposedness in that moment, if he had fought against it, when he got off that boat, Jesus would have walked one way and he would have walked the other. If he had fought against that nakedness and that exposedness before God, actually been a genuine realization of who he is and who he is, becoming a genuine man. If he had fought against that, Jesus would have walked off in one direction and he would have walked off in the other. But because he embraced it, because he actually went, yeah, I am a sinful man. This is who I am. He actually accepted it, he actually acknowledged it. He was actually able to accept his calling and he walked off behind Jesus and he changed his history. And this is for us today, church. We need to become genuine people. The Jesus effect is that we become genuine people. He breaks through all of those barriers, those boundaries, those lies, those masks. He breaks through all of them and we feel naked and exposed before him. But I encourage you to embrace it. Embrace it. Because it's only from that place that actual growth can take place in your life. That you can actually go and begin to walk in the direction that God has called you to walk in. Amen.